Some of you are close to retirement than you realize, and the truth is, retirement doesn't magically fix instability. In many cases, it exposes it. Because if your financial foundation is weak before retirement, retirement can become one of the most stressful periods of your life. And after spending decades working, serving, and sacrificing, this is not the ending you deserve. So in this video, I want to walk you through how to actually build financial stability before retirement. Not internet fantasy, not fake guru nonsense, real structure, real preparation, real peace. Greetings and salutations. This is the Adjutant. And today we're going to have a very important conversation, not just about retirement, but about stability. Because one of the greatest misunderstandings people have is believing retirement itself creates peace. It does not. Retirement simply reveals the condition of the financial life you built before you got there. And unfortunately, a lot of people spend decades working hard, earning decent money, yet still arrive at retirement anxious, uncertain, and financially fragile. Now, let me say something carefully, folks. This is not about becoming rich. This is not what this conversation is about. This conversation is about creating stability, predictability, margin, breathing room, the ability to sleep at night, the ability to handle emergencies without panic, the ability to age with dignity instead of fear. And the truth is, financial stability before retirement is usually built through very boring things, such as consistency, structure, patience, discipline, not hype, not gambling, not trying to become an overnight millionaire at 58 years old. And I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting too late to become serious about stabilization. Because eventually, there comes a point where wealth accumulation becomes less important than protection. Now, before we go further, folks, please hear me carefully. I want to say this to the younger viewers. The earlier you stabilize your life, the easier your future becomes. But for my older viewers, and for them particularly, please understand something important. It's not too late to improve your situation. Maybe you cannot change everything, but you can absolutely improve the trajectory. And sometimes small adjustments made consistently over the final working years can dramatically improve retirement quality. Now, let's walk through this the right way, okay? The first thing you must do before retirement is eliminate financial confusion. And I mean completely. You need to absolute clarity on how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, what debt exists, what interest rates exist, what subscriptions exist, what assets exist, what retirement income sources exist, what insurance coverage exists, everything, because confusion creates anxiety. And many people stay financially unstable simply because they avoid looking directly at their situation. They live emotionally instead of strategically. Now listen carefully. A budget is not punishment. A budget is awareness, and awareness creates control. One of the first things I tell people approaching retirement is this, folks, all right? You need to know your actual monthly survival number. Not your fantasy number, your real number. What does it truly cost you to live every month? We're talking housing, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, medical costs, debt payments, lifestyle spending. Because if you do not know the numbers, you cannot build stability. And many people are shocked once they finally calculate it honestly. Now, the second thing, and this is critical, you must aggressively reduce unnecessary debt before retirement, especially high interest consumer debt. Credit card debt in retirement is dangerous, and it is very dangerous because retirement income is usually more fixed. And once interest starts consuming portions of fixed income, it becomes harder and harder to recover. Now, I want to be realistic here, folks. Not everyone will enter retirement completely debt-free. I understand that. Some people will still have mortgages, some may still have car notes, but there is a difference between structured debt, and structured debt is manageable, particularly when you look at chaotic debt. All right? Chaotic debt creates instability, and one of the greatest forms of financial peace is lowering your required monthly obligations, because every dollar you no longer owe is another dollar that stays under your control. Now, the third thing is build cash reserves before retirement, and I cannot stress this enough. Retirement without liquidity can become terrifying because life will happen. Cars break down, roofs fail, medical surprises appear, financial emergencies happen, and if every emergency requires borrowing, retirement quickly becomes financially exhausting. Now, ideally, I like seeing people heading toward retirement with at least 3 to 6 months of core expenses saved, more if possible, especially if you have health concerns, aging parents, and unpredictable family obligations. Liquidity creates emotional calm, and emotional calm creates more than people realize. Now, let's discuss something else that's important. People often ignore this, and that is lifestyle inflation. One of the biggest traps people fall into before retirement is increasing lifestyle every time income increases. What do I mean by that? Well, they have a desire for a bigger house, more expensive vehicles, more subscriptions, more dining, more luxury spending, and eventually their lifestyle becomes too expensive to maintain safely during retirement. Now listen carefully, folks. One of the greatest retirement skills is learning contentment, all right? Not deprivation, contentment. Understanding the difference matters because financial stability is not just mathematical, it's behavioral. Some people make excellent money, yet remain unstable because spending expands endlessly. Other people make moderate money, yet build tremendous peace because they live below their means consistently. Now, I want to talk directly to military members, federal employees, and veterans for a moment, all right? Many of you have advantages that civilians would love to have. You have a pension, you have your TSP, you have healthcare options, you have VA compensation, federal retirement systems, all of these things to include military retirement systems. But here's the problem. Too many people normalize those benefits instead of strategically maximizing them. And that is one of the reasons I make these videos, folks, because structure matters, understanding matters, long-term planning matters. Now, for example, if you know a pension is coming, that changes your risk calculations. If you know healthcare costs are partially protected, that changes planning. If you understand survivor benefits, tax implications, withdrawal sequencings, that changes retirement outcomes, and many people unfortunately never fully learn the systems available to them. Now, another important thing before retirement, you must stress test your future, meaning practice retirement financially before retirement arrives. What do I mean by that? All right. Watch this. Try living on your projected retirement income for several months. Seriously, test it. Can you survive comfortably? Can you still save? Can you absorb surprises? Can you maintain your peace? Because it is far better to discover problems while still employed than after the paycheck stops. That is a major strategic advantage. Okay? Now let's discuss emotional spending, because this is the hidden issue. Many people spend emotionally without realizing it. They have stress spending, reward spending, loneliness spending, status spending. And if those habits are not addressed before retirement, they often worsen during retirement, because retirement changes identity. And sometimes people start trying to fill emotional voids with purchases. So part of financial stability is emotional maturity. Now, learning how to sit with yourself without constantly consuming. Now, let me say something very important. Retirement stability is not only about money, it is also about your health. Your physical health affects your finances. Your mental health affects your finances. Your relationships affect your finances. Because medical crisis, divorce, addiction, depression, poor health habits, all of these things can destabilize retirement. And this is why I always tell people wealth building and life discipline are connected. Everything affects everything. Now, here's another major point. You need multiple layers of retirement income whenever possible, not dependency on one single source. Pension plus investments, Social Security plus retirement accounts, VA compensation plus savings, part-time consulting plus retirement income. Stability often comes from diversification, and diversification creates resilience. Now, notice something. Everything I'm discussing today sounds slow, because it is. Real stability usually grows slowly, quietly, without applause, without fanfare, without hoopla, without social media excitement. And I think that is important to understand. The internet has trained people to chase dramatic financial transformation, but most financial stable retirees I have seen do not become wealthy through drama. They become stable through consistency, month after month, year after year, decision after decision. Wow. Now, before we close, I want to say something to people who feel behind. Please do not surrender emotionally. Seriously, do not mentally quit on yourself. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you lost time. Maybe life happened. Maybe divorce happened. Maybe health issues happened. Maybe bad decisions happened. But you know what? You're still here. And as long as you're still here, you still have the ability to improve your position. Even modest improvements matter. Reducing debt matters. Increasing savings matter. Learning discipline matters. Creating structure matters. And one of the greatest gifts you can give your future self is stability. Not image, not appearances, not pretending, actual stability. Because eventually, peace becomes more valuable than impressing people. And many people learn that lesson far too late. So if you take nothing else from today's video, remember this. Retirement is not just about stopping work. It's about building a life that can sustain peace financially, emotionally, mentally, practically. And the work to create that peace starts before retirement arrives. And so there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. This is the Adjutant, and I'll see you in the next one. I wish you all blessings and blessings. Shalom.